Hi, can everybody see the screen?
Yep. All
All
good.
right. So it's kind of unfortunate we can't give you an actual tour of our school, but here's a picture right there. That's the Harvard School of Dental Medicine, and there's a part in the back which I should have added another picture, but that's there's a newer part attached to the back of this building, and yeah, we love our school. Both Dahi and I. I'm a second year student um, in the DMD program, and yeah, I think yeah, Dahi will also introduce herself.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm a first year dental DMD program student.
We're just going to give a presentation about our school. Okay, so we have this 1 minute video and it's going to give an overview of our school. Yes, that's just the 1 minute video. Thought it did a pretty good job kind of giving you a glimpse of what our school is like.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. So I'm gonna briefly talk about the HSDM. So Harvard School of Dental Medicine's mission is to develop and foster a community of global leaders dedicated to improving human health by integrating dentistry and medicine at the forefront of education, research, and patient care. So the important thing that our school is very emphasizing to our education is that to transform dentistry by removing distinction between oral and systemic health. And one of the education program that we're going to talk about later is that we actually, the first year dental student are studying with first year medical student to actually have the whole view of like systemic health and to remove the distinction between oral and systemic health. So we value a lot of things in our community. So dedicated to being a community within self-respect and mutual respect. And compassion, fairness, and trust are fundamental values that we value. Diversity of individual within the community to be the essential ingredients to be an inspiring, vigorous, and exciting culture. And also finally, ethics and integrity provide the framework for all of our efforts on oral and systemic health. So I'm gonna talk about the history of our school. So we were founded at 1867. It was the first dental school in the United States to be affiliated with a university and also a medical school. And we have the name change 1940 to Harvard School of Dental Medicine, which we are using right now. And we got awarded from National Institute of Dental Research training grant and began to expand since 1957. And on 2015, which is really recent, we have this new curriculum that integrates oral health and primary care and gives the first year student, as I mentioned, the opportunity to gain the primary care clinical experience earlier with the rotation in the student teaching clinic, which I am doing right now. And so I'm studying with first year medical student in HMS.
Yeah, so both Dahi and I are in the DMD program, which stands for Doctor of Dental Medicine. And essentially in this program, getting the DMD allows you to become an actual dentist, take some board certification exams, but this is a program that all dental students will get into to become dentists. And so there are 140 pre-doctoral students. So there are 35 students each year, and it's really small class size, but everybody knows each other. It's really tight knit. I would say that's one of our strengths in the program. In the first year, like Dahi said, and she's currently studying and taking classes with medical students. It's called Fundamentals of Medicine, and basically HSDM kind of wants to start HSD, like dental students, with a really strong medical foundation. In the second year, which I'm in, it's called Integrated Oral Health Foundations. And so moving, a little bit more specific from medicine and focusing more on, the oral mucosa and things more related to maybe head and neck anatomy, more focused on areas more pertinent to what you would think of as dentistry. But a lot of the concepts that you learn in the first year will, be applied in the second year, and you'll kind of see how they come together. In third year, it's called Principal Clinical Experience and also Preclinical and Clinical Skills in Comprehensive Care. And this is when you're starting really to develop hand skills and skills working with patients. In the fourth year, you're really diving into working with different kinds of populations, doing rotations amongst the hospitals, maybe doing an oral surgery rotation, oral medicine rotation, kind of learning about more different specialties. And also, I know that fourth years also will spend maybe 3 months working in an offsite clinic, kind of learning to work with a really specific but different population and gain that kind of exposure. Our school also has 5 different academic departments. This is also something I discovered while making the presentation, but they include developmental biology, oral and maxillofacial surgery, oral health policy and epidemiology, oral medicine, infection and immunity, restorative dentistry, and biomaterials science. And so after somebody receives a DMD, in some other schools they call it a DDS, these, like, you're licensed as a dentist, but some people continue to do an advanced graduate education programs. They're also called specialties, and at HSDM, they really offer specialties in, anything you can think of. And here are lists of the different specialties that HSDM offers. Yeah, you guys can kind of take a look right here. Okay, and I'm going to talk about the Harvard Dental Center. And so this is the only school within, or HSDM is the only school within Harvard that actually provides direct patient care through the Harvard Dental Center. For instance, Harvard Medical School, HMS, I think they have a lot of affiliations with different hospitals, but they don't have like a Harvard Medical Center per se. So this is really unique to our school within the Harvard University. And they really have a range of different dental specialties. And we're divided into 2 different practices. One is the faculty group practice, which is led by full and part-time Harvard faculty. We also have a teaching practice, which is led by pre-doctoral and advanced graduate dental students. And so you can kind of tell that faculty group practice, they might have more experience, but in the teaching practices, this is where students are really gaining, practice, and, there's going to be faculty kind of guiding them, but this is where they're getting their training. And a lot of times the procedures will take longer, but because of this, the cost will be 30 to 40% less than fees charged at a private practice or private dental practice. And so you're kind of paying with your time. And in response to COVID, ever since March, the Harvard Dental Center started triaging emergency consultations via teledentistry and making elective appointments, making them rescheduled until further notice. And now Dahi will talk a little bit about the community and student life.
So we have this dorm called Vanderbilt Hall that we share with HMS and some of the PhD program in Longwood campus. So we are actually living, some of the students in our school live in this dorm and have the community there. And ASDA and specialty study groups are just groups that are in our school. And Franklin will explain more about what ASDA and how it composed in like the larger society. And we have HMS and HSTM Student Council, which serves as a leadership of our community. And Office and Diversity and Inclusion fosters the diversity within our community. So we have this called IT time, which was originally tea time in our school. So every week we have like 1 hour of like tea time within our school that everyone can come to there and then just like have a tea and talk with each other, foster community. So before COVID, there was like actually a tea time in our school, but now because of the COVID, we're moving into like IT time. So we have like Thursday afternoon, just like Zoom calls, just like office hours, so that people can come and talk about anything in our community. And also we do a lot of potlucks and big little programs, so that we have one student per each year to have this like big little, and then upperclassmen can help lowerclassmen and have this community. Because we are really like small school with only like 35 students in a year, I think this really helps, and everyone knows each other, so I have been enjoying it really well. And we have a lot of like community bonding activities. So for example, this October, we are doing this pumpkin carving activity. So we are having this pumpkin carving like contest, so that people can like send their own pumpkin, and we're gonna like vote on the best pumpkin carved within our community. So I think we are pretty tight and foster a lot of community and student life in our society.
And so, Dahi mentioned ASDA, or it's also called American Student Dental Association. So what is ASDA? So ASDA is a national student-run organization. It spans across the entire nation. Pretty much all dental schools have a chapter association, and it runs, there's a national level, there's a district level that encompasses our school, BU, Tufts, UNE, and UConn, 5 schools in total in this Northeast area or New England area. And then we function at the chapter level, which is at the school level. And it's basically organized dentistry, and we have all different kinds of different committees, and it's really where dental students' voices can be heard. For instance, in advocacy, if if we are concerned with student debt, if we're concerned with different things in, for instance, like dental therapists or opioids, these different topics. This is like a space where we talk about it, and maybe also licensure reform. We come together as a school or combine with other schools in the district to kind of advocate for these issues. In class rep committee, we also will host a lot of class bonding events or across classes. We're currently doing something called Spooky Shoutouts, where we will send nice messages. We have this Google form, and people can like write warm fuzzies, and then we'll email them to the student or a faculty or a staff, and it's just really to make somebody's day after reading that nice message. That's just one thing, and currently we're doing like a costume contest for Halloween. In the fundraising committee, we'll like raise money for, via Patagonia sales, Fig sales, which is the name of like a scrub brand, and a lot of other different sales to kind of raise money for different causes. And we also have a social media Instagram page. Follow us at HSDM_ASDA if you want to follow and see what our association is doing. We're pretty active over there. And on our Instagram page, we'll really post, about different events that are happening, and we'll also post pictures. Now that there's less opportunity to post pictures, there's a little bit less of that, but there's still really good content going on. We also do a lot of mentorship via pre-dental committee. We have a conference coming up actually on November 7th. That's really exciting for us. And in community involvement, for example, We have different events, but one of our biggest ones, as you can see in the picture right here, is Give Kids a Smile Day. And this is an event we have every single year annually, where we will give free oral and dental care to kids. And this is a one-day event every year, but it's super rewarding. And that usually happens in like February.
So I'm gonna briefly talk about the research that we are doing. So long term, we're like on the forefront of research to cure the disease of bone and craniofacial soft tissues. So we are the only school within Harvard University with its own clinical facility, and we do a lot of research based on like these topics. And one thing that we want to emphasize is that 4C Institute is to train like academic researchers in oral and craniofacial biology. So these are the research that we are doing. And Franklin can talk about the current initiative that our school is actually fostering right now.
Yeah, so current initiatives. We recently got a new dean, William Ginobili, or Gianobili, and this is really exciting for us because our previous dean had been with us for 28 years, which is a long time, the longest time that any dean has been a dean at HSDM. And so we're really excited because we feel that this will give us a fresh perspective into our school, and he's really looking into different topics such as like increasing diversity at our school and also continuing different research initiatives. And it's less of an initiative, but thought it'd be interesting to put there. There's currently, like, he's trying to make different scholarships to help recruit minority students. And there's also an initiative called Family Van, but we're really trying to add a dental component to that. And Family Van is something that's kind of more done at the medical school. And basically with this van, they're able to kind of give care in different areas. And we're really trying to add the dental component. And this is currently in the works. And like Dahi mentioned earlier, our school is really big on primary and oral health integration. And so there's actually a center for integration of primary care and oral health, whether it's bringing more oral, health in the primary care setting or bringing more, primary care into the dental care setting and kind of intermixing the two and vice versa. Yeah, those are current initiatives that our school is currently worked on. It felt like it'd be nice to mention a few. And that is it.
Much. If you unshare your screen, I actually just really want to quickly show everyone where Longwood campus is. Just because I feel like that's something that you can get the experience of when we're actually going there for the different tours, but not something you can get that much of a sense of when we're not there. So this is Harvard Square that everyone is very familiar with. And what is surprising is, like 10, I think 10 out of our 12 schools are based in Cambridge. And then, not 10, 9 of our 12 schools are based in Cambridge. And then we have 3 schools that is not in Cambridge at all. So these are, all the familiar names you guys know. And then the business school is here. And then School of Engineering and Applied Sciences are gonna also move here as well. But if you would like to visit us, the medical school and the School of Dental Medicine and the School of Public Health, then you have to go all the way down to Lower Boston, where we are next to Fenway and next to Brookline. So yeah, this is our campus here. The medical school is right here. Dental school is right here. This is Vanderbilt Hall, where I lived last year, and a lot of dental students live there as well. And yeah, it's a 30-minute bus ride from here across the bridge to MIT to Harvard campus. So when we do have meetings during the school year, and we're actually there in person, a lot of us have to, just take the bus over. And it was definitely a time commitment, as Franklin can tell you guys from our time as reps and, you know, going to all the meetings last year. But I just wanted to quickly share that with everyone so everyone knows like an idea of where all the different campuses are. So great. Thank you so much, Franklin and Dahi, for that wonderful presentation. We're going to move on to public comment now. And we have a member here from the undergraduate campus, Jack Swanson, I believe. And he's going to talk to us a little bit about this petition for Elections Day. Jack, are you here?
I am, yeah, thank you.
Great.
Yeah, so thank you. Like Shanthia mentioned, I'm a member of the Harvard Undergraduate Council. I'm a junior at college. And the reason I'm here today is to present a petition to y'all about Election Day. So this is a petition that we actually passed through the Undergraduate Council this past week. And over the past week, it has gotten over 900 signatures, primarily from undergraduates at the college. So the idea of the petition is pretty simple. It's just, we want to make Election Day a university holiday. Now at Harvard, we have 12 university holidays, and during university holidays, both staff, students, and employees all get the day off, and they're free to do whatever they want. Now, as you may have known from keeping up with the election, this year voting is a little more difficult than normal. You may have seen that there have been reports of lines at polling locations that are 6 or 7 hours, and that's just during early voting. So we already know that on election day, voting is going to be much more difficult than normal. So we want to make it as easy as possible for staff, students, and employees to vote. Now, the reason that I'm pushing this petition, the reason I think we should do it now, first of all, we know that President Bacow is very friendly towards the idea of getting up students voting. He sends emails quite often. I'm not sure if it goes to all the graduate communities as well, but he'll send emails encouraging us to vote and pointing us towards resources to register. So I think that we've got a unique opportunity to push for this. And the second thing is just that this has been done at several other colleges around the country this year. So we know that there's already a lot of public pressure and a movement building in order to actually make this a reality. More specifically, Brown University took a big step in declaring it a university holiday, and several other colleges either canceled classes or made sure that professors and staff were more friendly with students when it came to taking the day off. So the petition, which I'm not sure if it's been shared on the agenda or not here, but the petition is on change.org, and it effectively summarizes what I said here, and it's going to push President Bacow to make it a university holiday. Now, our plan is to get as many signatures as we can this week and hopefully present it to him sometime before the end of the week. We've got around 15 days before the election, so it's really important that we get this out there. Now, one thing that I've done at the college is to get it out to a lot of student organizations, and thank you, Peter, for putting that in the chat. Get it out to student organizations and get them to sign on to it, both as individuals and groups. So I guess my pitch here today for the Harvard Graduate Council is to hopefully sign on to the petition and publicize it through whatever formats or mediums y'all have available to you. We actually had a lot of success with pubbing it over the undergraduate council list. We got approximately 700 signatures from that. So we're hoping to really get the rest of the graduate schools involved in this. As you know, Harvard has quite a few students, around 36,000 in total, and only a handful of those, around 6,000, are at the college. So my goal here today is to really open this petition up to the rest of the graduate schools who are impacted by this exact same thing, and hopefully make our push a little bit stronger and get some more signatures on this petition. So that was a very quick overview. I don't want to take too much time, but please ask any questions if you have them. I'm happy to clarify some things or answer questions about the petition itself.
Hi, Jack. This is Abhinaya Narayanan. I'm the Chair of Advocacy for the Harvard Graduate Council. I just want to thank you so much for coming to the meeting. Just to clarify, so for today's meeting on our agenda, we have a vote at the end of the meeting for the representative to sign on to a statement in support of this. As I saw on the change.org petition, it's usually for individuals to sign on. Is there another, you mentioned student organizations signing on, is there another platform on which you're soliciting student organizations' signatures? or is it just kind of using that to leverage communication to those networks and getting more individuals to sign on?
Yeah, great question. So the answer is that it's twofold. First, we think that it's important to get a number of individual signatures because you know, the larger amount of people that are pushing for this, the greater chance we have at actually getting it done. So the change.org petition is primarily to get those individual signatures. We've reached out to organizations like the Graduate Council because they have a lot of sway and influence in getting the petition out to people to see and sign. But there also is a second component which you hinted at, and that is we have a running list of organizations that have actually signed on to this separately as organizations. And that is something that I'm going to publish as an update on the change.org petition once we get closer to actually sending it out. I don't have another platform at the moment for actually presenting that. I'm not really sure. If there's something I'm missing here, let me know. But currently our plan is to get them all together. And once we actually present the petition to President Bacow and the faculty to vote on, we're hoping that we will have a complete list of the signatures we have and a complete list of all the student organizations put in together as one full package to send to them.
Thank you so much. That clarifies things. So yeah, we can definitely, at the end of this meeting, we'll be deciding if the Harvard Graduate Council as a whole will be signing on, but definitely representatives and individuals from this point on can of course share the petition, and then based on our vote, we'll also, if we do vote to support it as an organization, can also leverage our platforms to send it out.
Perfect, that would be amazing.
Yeah, sorry, Jack, one other quick question. Well, first, where are you calling in from? Because it's still daylight there.
I forgot about that. I'm calling in from California. I moved here a couple of days ago.
Very nice. Some of us are jealous of that as it becomes winter. Can you say again what the date is that you're hoping to go to President Bacow so we can present it as sort of a hard deadline to individuals?
Yeah, great question. So right now, our date to actually compile everything and present it is this coming Thursday. We want to have some leeway before the week actually ends to get it on his desk. We're also hoping that if there isn't a super positive reception up front from that, we have another avenue of presenting it to the faculty for a faculty vote. And that would happen probably on Friday. It depends on how quickly he gets back to us.
Okay, seeing no other questions. Thank you so much, Jack, for joining us and for presenting and for doing this incredible work to try to get us to 100% voting.
Absolutely.
So we will continue with the public comment. Just a brief clarifying point, because we do have some new individuals here. What we're doing right now is just a public comment period when individuals are free to present anything that they have as this is a public meeting. It's best and always more productive if people can email beforehand with what it is that they would like to discuss so that we can add them to the agenda. But people should feel free also, if they have something to raise their hand and they can be recognized. We do have one other individual who emailed us beforehand, so I'll turn to him in 1 second, but I just wanted to check, since I have the floor now, if the representatives for GSAS and the Harvard Graduate School of Education are here. So I think that's Rachel Goodyear and Nariman.
And I'm here. Yes, hi.
Okay, great. So that's HGC, and I see Rachel's name on the list, on the participant list, but I'm not hearing her. Okay, so we can check back in with her in a few minutes. So I'm going to turn over the floor and recognize Hugh Shirley, who is going to comment about environmental issues related to the university. So go ahead.
Great, thank you so much. And thank you everyone else for giving me the chance to talk to you about something that I've been working on with Abinaya and the advocacy wing of what we do here. So for the past couple weeks, I've been talking with people about the establishment of an environmental justice subcommittee. goal of which is primarily to recognize our responsibility as members of the Boston community, or Cambridge community for the rest of the graduate schools, to the community in terms of the impact that we have on the environment. And the main goal of the subcommittee is to discuss and learn about, in the short term, the Boston Green New Deal, which is a policy that was introduced by Michelle Wu, who's running for mayor, and to evaluate the Boston Green New Deal for its impact not only on the Harvard community, but also on the Boston community at large. So that would be the short-term goal of this project. But in the long term, I hope that this group of people can work together not only to educate the Graduate Student Council, but also the rest of the Harvard graduate community about issues related to environmental justice, issues related to racial bias and socioeconomic disparities that lead to differences in health outcomes because of the impacts of climate change that we're seeing affecting people's lives nowadays. So I wanted to let you all know about this initiative that I've been working on, and if you're interested in getting involved from the ground floor and contributing in some capacity, please do not hesitate to reach out to myself. And I guess I'll speak a little bit for Abinaya, but I'm sure she wouldn't mind hearing from you either. And yeah, I would love to work with you all on something like this. Yeah, so thank you so much. That's all I'll share on that right now.
Yeah, thanks so much, Hugh. And, you know, as all of you guys are reps, you know, you can all join whatever committee that you're interested in. I know the first meeting talked about how he's putting a committee together to look into maybe doing socially distanced commencement, like in-person commencement. So he's really passionate about that. And then, you know, if you guys are interested in working with Hugh on this, please reach out to him, reach out to Abinaya as well. I think that would be really helpful. Sorry, I turned on my video because apparently I was breaking up a little bit, but I'll let Jojo take the next.
Yeah, for sure. Are there any other public comments at the moment? Anything else to share? Okay, hearing nothing, and having all our reps accounted for now, it's wonderful. So we will.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Hugh, go ahead.
I remember this is actually a separate thing that I wanted to bring up, and it's a message from the HMS Student Council president related to COVID-19 policies. They've been having conversations with the dean of HMS, and they wanted me to bring up the fact that we cannot receive the policies that we need to come back in January until the rest of the graduate schools are agreed on how Harvard is going to do this. So his message is to please go back to your student councils and bring it up with them to put pressure on the administrations in your respective schools to actually make decisions on how January is going to play out across the university. Thank you.
Thank you. And just as a question, are they trying to organize sort of a central response or you know, like a repository? Because if not, then that does sound, you know, it sounds like the type of thing that the graduate council could certainly do, but you know, we just want to make sure that we're not going to sort of cross purposes here.
Right. My understanding of the situation, based on what I've learned from the president at HMS, is that the central Harvard president provost's office is not allowing the graduate administrations to definitively release information about how January will look for their universities or their colleges until all of the colleges have come up with a plan. So it didn't have anything to do with a central repository about what's actually happening. It just has to do with applying pressure on the administration to make sure a decision comes out sooner rather than later.
Do you hear because some colleges might go back on the ground and some might not? Like these are the options?
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, was I breaking off? I was saying, do you mean because colleges need to decide between coming back on the ground or continuing online, or something else?
That was my understanding of the issue.
Yeah, cool. Thanks.
Emily, do you want to ask a question?
Yeah, thanks. So I know this is a very current and pressing issue being discussed with KSSG, the HKS student government, as I'm sure it is for a lot of the other grad schools. And so, I mean, this is a really helpful update here, and I think it could make a difference in how we discuss this and discuss our strategy and going to the Dean of HKS. So I don't know if this is the time to do it or if it would be better done through a Google Doc or something, but it would be great to know if other people have temp check updates on how their administrations are thinking about this currently. It could have a really big impact on how we respectively lobby our administrations.
Yeah, so thanks, Emily. I think that's a really good point, and is definitely something that we will put together so that we can, start information sharing as we start to look ahead to the next semester. Okay, so we are now going to move on to the next portion of our program, which will be updates from the executive board, and we will start off with the executive group. So I'll turn it back over to Chintzia for some general remarks as we get rolling with what everyone can congratulate. I think most people were at elections, but this is our first general council meeting with the full executive board. So let's get the ball rolling. Cynthia.
Yeah, great. For that, and then we'll save. We can have a bit more time at the end because we're a little behind on the agenda right now. At the end, if different people want to talk about what the policies is for their school, so I put that into like the action items for when we do the voting and talk about meeting times later on. So right now, I just want to quickly just for our executive update, just to quickly like share with everyone like what it means to be a rep for Harvard Graduate Council. I know at least some of you, this might be your first meeting ever as the rep from your school. So this is from our Constitution and bylaws. And it's, if you have the time, definitely like go in and like, read if you have the time, but if you don't, that's also totally okay. I just wanted to highlight a bit like what your duties are as a voting representative. And I know Peter and Himaja have reached out to all of you guys individually to make one-on-one meetings to kind of go over any questions that you might have regarding any of these. But just quickly wanted to tell you guys that as a voting rep or as the alternate rep or as, the other multiple alternate reps, because I know for various schools we have more than one. At least the voting rep is required to attend every graduate council meeting, which is every other Monday. So, if you look on our website, we already have at least the rest of the dates for the fall. And then we technically also have it for the spring. We'll put that up, but it's every other Monday. Expect there to be a meeting and, contribute to discussions. The most important thing is whenever we have to make a statement as Harvard Graduate Council, then it's really important for all the reps to be in attendance so that one, we have quorum, and then two, that you can cast a vote for your school. And only one vote is cast every time from a school. So generally that's either cast by the primary voting rep or in the past we've had schools that had multiple reps. The reps discuss amongst each other and then the voting rep casts that vote. So it's whatever you and the other reps decide you want to do is more comfortable for you. And also serving as the primary point of contact, as Hugh greatly demonstrated between the HGC leadership and the student government at your different schools. And again, also raising concerns from whatever is happening at your school to the council. And then also, a few of you guys have really helped with this, is to facilitate marketing of anything that HGC signs onto or anything that we do as a part of HGC. So we haven't really run too many events, but Angela will talk a bit more about that when we get to that part. And then lastly, just working to raise the profile of Harvard Graduate Council. You know, you to your school, you serve as the face of Harvard Graduate Council. So if there's anything you can do to, you know, post for us in the your Facebook groups or group me's, or sending out emails from Harvard Graduate Council, that kind of helps connect our different campuses, that would be really, really great. And then lastly, just, you know, it's to think about for the spring as voting reps, and I think also as alternate reps, you guys get priority if you ever want to run for elections for, you know, any of the roles on the executive board. That gives you priority during elections, which some of you guys experienced at our last meeting for elections. So I think that's all I have regarding the roles of the voting rep. If you guys have any questions, you can feel free to message in the chat, and then I'll get to them as we move on to the next.
Yeah, so next part, as far as executive updates, is just a quick debrief of the Ivy Plus Summit. So for anyone who doesn't know, Ivy Plus is a gathering of the sort of various, graduate-wide student groups representing a number of different schools. It's Ivy Plus because it technically does not include every Ivy school, but it does also include MIT and the University of Chicago. And I think, and they're working to expand the network and bring in some other schools. There was talk about trying to get Stanford, and I think it's just the time zone difference and the distance has made it hard. But if things are still, you know, zooming along next year, they may be able to do that. And so every year they have a summit in which they update, different issues related to all of the schools, and we share perspectives and insight on how the schools are doing, how they're responding to these different things. And this year it was all remote, which was a very different experience, but it gave the advantage of allowing more individuals to come and be involved and to observe. And so they had, I think it was 4 or 5 sessions this year. I guess it was 5. One was over the summer that was specifically related to responses to COVID. And then they had sessions related to the state of the campus that our wonderful President Chedzia presented at. And then they had one on international students, in which Abhinay and I attended, and they had ones on mental health and on diversity and inclusion. And so there were just, I guess, a few insights from that. One was just the fact that every school is going through, these types of issues. In terms of the, I'll let Chintya speak for a minute about the state of the campus one, but in terms of dealing with international students, there is a lot of uncertainty. There are a lot of issues, and every school is either handling it or not handling it in a different way. Some of the ideas that we heard from some of those places we've tried incorporating, and one of them in particular has to do with the public comment workshop that Abhinaya had the idea for, that she'll share when we get to the advocacy updates, but that we were able to share as an idea with the other schools as well, and hopefully something good will come out of that as well. But it definitely reiterated the need to try and give as much support as we can to international students at the moment throughout, Harvard. In terms of the state of the campus, should you want to just take a minute and share what your experience was from that one?
Yeah, well, we're running a bit behind, so I'm really just gonna quickly just say, yeah, it was great to hear from all the different schools, and it's also very, like, I remember from one of our earlier meetings, we had a public comment talking about how, like, if we're not on campus, then we can't get COVID tested for free. That's not the case with a lot of different schools. At least I remember from, like, Princeton to some of the other schools, like, it's free for any student. And I think that's just something that we are dealing with at Harvard. There was also some talk about how health insurance was being factored in. I think some schools were allowing students to have, I think, unlimited access to mental health visits. I believe, I forgot which school it was, but that's definitely something that we have for years not been able to offer our students. So we have notes for that, and it's something that if any of you guys are interested in any of these different topics, like I guess the COVID response or mental health resources, what was another topic? International students, of course, which Abinaya is going to talk about. If you're interested in any of these topics, please reach out to us and we'll put you in contact with whoever either presented for Harvard or what the notes were from those meetings, because and who to contact at these other Ivy Plus schools, because I think during this time it would be really great for us to connect with different campuses. So that's all I've got. So I'm gonna pass it on to operations and governance if they wanna just quickly speak a little bit about some of the things that they've been planning.
Measure, take it away.
Awesome. No, thank you guys so much. And first of all, it's really nice to, meet you all again. I know we had like our first meeting before, but just wanted to reiterate that. In terms of quick updates, Peter and I have been working hard to contact everyone, all our different reps and all our different presidents to have one-to-one meetings. There are some people we still have to reach out to, so please keep an eye out for your emails. We're doing this instead of a retreat just so that Peter and I can better get to know you guys and understand any challenges that you guys are facing and work on our ends to support you guys better on your time on the council. And then in terms of other updates, let's see. Yes, so another thing we want to say is we will be releasing a survey. This is just for you guys to put in your schedules so that if you need to meet with us further, we can find times to make that work, and also your contact information so we can continue to keep you guys in the loop with all things going on at the Harvard Graduate Council. And then last plug, always feel free to email Peter and I for absolutely anything you guys have questions on. We're your resources and we're your point people to the rest of the council as well. So never hesitate to reach out to us. And then Peter, did you have any other updates you wanted to share?
Yeah, just a couple things. So one of the things that I noticed that we had some cross wires on was about primary reps versus alternate reps. We just wanted to let everyone know, if you haven't heard through email yet, that we just did a deeper dive through our bylaws and constitution, and we can only have one designated primary rep and one alternate rep written officially. So if there are other members that want to join, you're definitely open to, HGC is an open council, or the meetings anyway, the council meetings. And if your school in particular loves to collaborate and sort of discuss before placing a vote anywhere, you're definitely open to do that. Every school has their own choice in how they would like to use their vote, but ultimately that one primary voting rep, or if that person's absent, the alternate voting rep is the person to cast the vote. Other than that, I just added this item last minute, but it's something that I noticed even today. So if you happen to come later to the meeting, I just get like a little doorbell notification through my sound. But I think it'd be easier if once you come in, just private message me so that I don't really have to like scroll through the participants list to try and figure out who the new person coming in is, and it just makes attendance a little bit easier. But other than that, good to see everyone and welcome to the first post-election meeting.
And then just to add another quick thing. So during your one-on-one meetings, Peter and I are gonna also discuss the roles and responsibilities a little bit further, just to make sure everyone's clear about that. And we'll also be putting together a 1 to 2 page document for reference. So you guys can look at that if you have any questions on what to do or who to contact, or what those roles look like throughout the year. So also keep an eye out for that as well.
Thank you so much, guys. And they really have been putting in a ton of effort, and it's already showing. So stay tuned for updates from them. So now we will turn it over to advocacy.
Hi, everyone. So I'm going to keep it short here because we are going to hear more about the international student new duration of status proposed ruling from a presentation from Davey later. But essentially, I wanted to let you all know that if you haven't heard, there was a rule that was proposed by DHS that would limit international students visas to 4 years and in some cases 2 years with no guarantee of renewal. This has been a real concern for our international student community. So what we are planning to do in response is one way to really make our voices heard around this is to write public comments. So on Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m., the External Advocacy Committee of HGC will be hosting a public comment writing workshop. All of the representatives and presidents should have received an email on Friday with all of the publicity materials and information about this event. Would really appreciate all of your support in sending out information about this event. And if you haven't received those materials, please you can direct message me, you can email me, I'll make sure they get to you. They're also listed on the agenda. We really want to get as much turnout to that and make sure we know that our international student community is supported, but also that we all have like our own way to engage in this conversation and make our voice heard. And again, that is Wednesday, 7 to 8 p.m. and the registration link is linked in the document in the agenda. The other thing I want to note here is, as I've mentioned in previous meetings, the External Advocacy Committee is in its infancy and building up. I know that some schools did not end up electing an External Advocacy Committee representative, and I'm working on responding to folks who have reached out to me as we're trying to identify who your EAC rep will be from your school. I'll be following up with everyone in the next week or so to make sure that we do have someone from your school represented. EAC is our opportunity to get involved and have Harvard graduate student voice in local, state, and federal policy. You've heard about the new Environmental Justice Subcommittee. So excited to have you all involved, and anyone who's interested can join the committee. We just have one voting rep from each school. So I'll be following up with you all on that. And that's it for me on updates. You'll be hearing more from Davey, who I've been working on this event with, along with Himaja later in the meeting.
All right, thank you so much, Abhinaya. And we will kick it over to information and communications.
Hey everyone, so just as an update, we recently met with Brett on the with the One Harvard Catalyst Fund, and we've already created some marketing material for that initiative. And just a heads up for everyone here, the deadline for the application period is November 6th. So please spread the news. And then we've also been working with Abhinaya to create marketing material for the DHS writing workshop. And we've recently begun updating the website. So for those new reps that haven't submitted their bios and photos, please remember to do so. And we also will be sending out, we'd like to launch our little marketing campaign to promote all of the new members of the Harvard Graduate Council. So we'll be sending out little questionnaires, and we'll be requesting a photo that we can use. So that should be coming out this week as well.
Thank you so much, Heidi. There are questions going on in the chat. I think they were referring to the bios photos. I believe that's just the executive board, but we will confer about that and get back to you shortly. So now let's turn it over to Angela and Irene, Student Life, who have some big updates to share with us, including GradFest. Okay.
Hi everyone, so nice to see everyone again. So on behalf of the GradFest board, we just want to say thank you so much for everyone submitting the montage video. I know some of you are submitting the last minute, so thank you so much. And at the meantime, we're getting some feedback from international students. International students were having problems about the time of GradFest because it's Eastern time, 6 from 8, so not a lot of international students can attend. So I get this feedback from Harvard Law School Council. If you continue to get this feedbacks from international students, please send it an email to me and Ashley and Kay so we can plan GradFest next year from all these feedbacks. So second, I want to keep everyone updated on Harvard Votes Challenge. We only have 15 days left until election day. So I really want to encourage all councils or government or forum to support your HGC student organizers. They've been working so hard to encourage students to vote. So this week I got a swag from Harvard Votes Challenge. It's for all of our HGC reps. So please, if you can support them, and if you would like to pick this up, please let me know. I'm here around Cambridge, so I can leave it somewhere so you can pick it up. So for Harvard Votes Challenge, we just want to make sure you have all the resources to keep students engaged and informed, and most important, to encourage them to vote. We only have 15 days left. So the third updates I want to mention is during the summer, Harvard the Graduate Council is collaborating with Medicine in Motion on the MOVE campaign to encourage students to care about their physical and mental health. And we are also collaborating with Harvard Ballroom Dance Team. So there's a good news. Harvard Ballroom Dance Team is giving all graduate students a special discount for their Rookie program. Anyone who's referred by Harvard Graduate Council, their membership will be only $10. The original membership fee is $60. So this is a part of like a bonus from Harvard Graduate Council to encourage students to care about their physical and mental health. Second, Medicine in Motion also have their free fitness classes. If you would like to encourage your student bodies to attend their fitness classes, their classes are free. The last event I want to keep everybody updated is that this summer, the Student Life team sent everyone an email. So we are asking presidents and reps to collaborate on events together. So this event is called Student Life, a series of conversations and events from Harvard Graduate Council. We really want to give each council a platform to collaborate with each other on a program or initiative. So our second group actually worked together on the health and wellness program, and it's quite successful. And now me and Amarin wants to regroup team one, that is Harvard Kennedy School, Business School, Law School, and the School of Education. Amarin already have some great ideas about Education Week. So she wants to host an event series for Education Week from November 16th to November 20th, just right before Thanksgiving. So I'll just pass the torch to Amarin so she can give you more information about how to collaborate with each other on this event.
Yeah, thanks so much for that update, Angela. Yeah, so the event we're looking into will definitely be partnering with sort of what we're calling Group 1, HBS, HKS, HLS, and in this case, we'll add on HGC. There's a unique opportunity because I think some of the different schools might already be focusing on event programming, and it might be a wise idea for us to sort of join forces and actually invite some high profile speakers. Again, it's also in November, so we do have a month worth of like lead time in case we wanted to reach out to those people. So yeah, I think we'll get more specific updates or like we'll plan this a little bit better this week. And we'll definitely be reaching out to the different, I guess, the student reps from the different schools because we'd love to collaborate and work on this together. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Angela and Irene. And we have a lot going on and hopefully a lot more in the pipeline. And now last, but given the news of today, certainly not least for updates, we turn it to finance.
Thanks, Jojo. Could you let me share my screen?
Yeah.
Thank you. Cool. Host disabled screen sharing.
I don't think I did that. Let's see. They have too many co-hosts. Hang on.
Yeah.
Try it now.
I'll try now. No, that's okay.
Hold on.
So a few different things. I'll just update you on a couple pieces. We did get approval. Thanks, first of all, whoever came to our finance committee meeting yesterday. It was a pretty good time. Never have had so much time on, such a fun time on Zoom. So Nariman, Hugh, Peter, everybody else, thank you. We passed then for folks to be able to get reimbursed for meals if you show up to an HGC meeting. So you can get up to $20 reimbursed, but you have to go on to our website and do the reimbursement form. And so Saeed, maybe you could share that in a little bit. But beyond that, then we did also approve to go forward with the Harvard One Catalyst Fund. And so Heidi and Tara did a great job of some marketing things. If you guys haven't liked the HGC Facebook page, you should totally do it, because they've made some little videos on there and so forth, and it's really neat. And so what that fund is for, that's going to be for individuals or groups to be able to apply for, to bring students together from at least 3 different graduate schools for some activity. And we can give reimbursement for it in the form of $500 or up to $2,500. So think through what types of really creative ideas that you have that could be utilized in that way to bring folks together in such a time. The other thing too is we got approved to buy HGC swag for everybody. And so for the exec board, I've got everything laid out. I'll send you guys that link in a second. And then for the reps, we're just waiting on the officially confirmed list of who all is a rep. So we can send that to y'all as well. Getting fleeces for exec. And then Zaid and I talked about, we're gonna get shirts, polos then for the reps for all the good work that we all do. So that's kind of it for right now. Saeed, do you want to talk about the expense reimbursement form?
Yeah, sure. Brett, do you want to share your screen on the expense reimbursement form? Just so.
I'm not going to share my screen, but I'm going to put the link in the chat. How about that?
That works, sure.
Okay.
So yeah, so he's going to share the link. So what happened is Marshall provisionally approved that we have with our reserve funds $20 for every weekly meeting for dinner. So you guys, if you want, you can order Grubhub, whatever you order, so long as you save your receipt and upload it to this form. It's a pretty straightforward form. You upload it there, and what we're thinking right now is the best approach is to reimburse you through Venmo. And if you guys can't get Venmo, or you don't have Venmo, or if you're in another country that doesn't have Venmo or access to Venmo, we can work with you and see how we can get your money in as fast a way as possible. But I just wanted to inform you that we were approved for $20 for every, we were approved for $20 per representative per general body meeting. So that's some good news for you guys. Have some food to eat during our meetings.
That's kind of it from finance. Then we'll send you guys the links in our fun WhatsApp group chats. Beyond that, I think I am supposed to report every meeting just what our account balance is at. And so as of yesterday, it was at $61,211.34. If you really want to know the details about that, you can talk to me offline.
Yeah, and then it looks like some of the reps, at least in the chat, have some questions about official reps versus designated reps and alternates.
Yeah.
We will get back to you guys about that, because the exec board, we're actually going to stay behind and talk about it a little bit, because we didn't have our executive meeting last week because of Indigenous Peoples Day. So we will follow up with you guys on the email, and also Peter and Himaja will also follow up with you guys during your one-on-one meetings. So hang in there. We will give you the answers to that as well. Okay. So Brett, was that all you wanted to chat about?
Yep.
Okay, great. Okay, so next we're going to have our presentations. And thank you so much, Davey, for staying long. We're definitely running over time, but I'm going to turn our attention over to Davey Den. He's from the Harvard Chan Student Association, who will be talking a bit about international student advocacy.
Thank you. I guess I don't know most of you guys. I only know Himaja and Avinaya. But yeah, I'm a student at Harvard Chan. I'm like a first year student at Harvard Chan, and I'm this year's international student advocate. and I will present on this new ruling, proposed ruling from the DHS, just to get you guys, a little bit up to date about what is really happening out there. And we're going to have a common writing workshop, like Abhinaya said, this Wednesday. So hopefully some of you guys will be able to attend. I do have to go in exactly 12 minutes, so I will keep this short. I don't think I will need to use the whole 10 minutes plus 5-minute Q&A, but I will share my screen now. No, actually, I cannot share my screen right now.
Sorry, I will give you permissions and hopefully this works. See if you can share screen now.
All right, so, ooh, I do not want it to be full screen. How the heck do I do this?
I think that's actually from our end. So I think if you just.
Okay, are you seeing it full screen right now?
No, I don't have it full screen.
Oh, okay. I don't want it to full screen either because I have notes. Okay, I guess I can do it just like this. So basically the DHS ruling that was, the proposed ruling that was released in on September 25th has these five implications, direct proposed rules. The first thing is limited duration of status, this is the current situation with F1 and J1 students. Basically, they get a visa for approximately 5 years, and they can use these 5 years as long as they are in full-time, they're in a status of being a full-time student. So by eliminating this duration of status, it means that it's only your visa status is going to be limited to however your program is, however long your program is, unless it exceeds 2 years or 4 years, depending on the countries. So that's the second point. So certain groups fall under this limited 2-year admission instead of 4-year admission, and these groups are usually what the Department of Homeland Security deems a security risk coming from a countries where terrorists it's on a terrorist watch list or something like that, like North Korea, Syria, and some other countries. And also countries that they claim have over 10% overstay. So those are usually countries from Africa and Asia. However, I do want to point out that those stats are not statistically reasonable. Sometimes they're not reliable, and a lot of times they're drawing conclusions that do not actually have a direct correlation with what they're calling terrorist attacks. So the rationales behind limiting certain groups to a 2-year admission is because they're trying to protect the safety of American people, and that's not really reasonable from overstay rate itself. Now, the third one is they're reducing the F1 grace period from 60 days to 30 days. This means that after F1, after you're finishing with your degree program, your F1 status ceased at that point, but then you typically right now you have approximately 60 days to apply for a different visa or apply for OPT or CPT in order to continue staying in the US, and that has been shortened to 30 days. For transition provision, this is something that's a little tricky. So basically it impacts the current international students on F1 visa. What they're saying is that this DSMU proposed ruling actually impacts the I-94 instead of your F1. So if you are a current F1 student that was before this administration, before the ruling is confirmed, you will be subject to this new rule after you leave the US and try to come back. Because at that point, you will need a new I-94, and that's when the new rule is going to come into effect. So yeah, so in short, this point would means that this new rule will affect all international students, regardless whether you are a current F1 in the US. And the last one, which is one that people are particularly concerned with, is OPT, CPT, OPT STEM. So this is particularly troublesome because it means that if you are applying for an extension of stay, which is EOS, they shorten it EOS, you will not be able to work until your EOS is approved, even if you have a valid OPT or STEM OPT. So to make an example, for students who are like me, graduated from Harvard Chan and I have OPT, I'm on OPT right now, but because my 2-year or 4-year limit is up, I will have to apply for EOS, but during that application, I cannot work. I cannot use my OPT until my EOS is approved. So some of the potential consequences of these new rulings include the J1 physicians on J1 visas. A lot of international medical students, they're on J1 visa while they're practicing in the US. For J1 visa, if you're coming from one of the countries with only 2-year admission, then after 2 years, you have to apply for EOS. And during that period, you will not be able to work as a physician. You will not be able to continue your residency programs during that period of time. And then it's also, and then OPT and CPT essentially render ineffective because right now the OPT CPT processing time is approximately 2 to 4 months, I believe. It varies between different places, I think, and then between different times. I think COVID-19 has really prolonged that process. However, and that's already pretty long for people because imagine you have to tell your employers that you will not be able to start working until your OPT is actually in effect, and that time is unpredictable. It's unclear when you actually get the OPT. So that's already pretty long. Like this current situation of OPT is already pretty precarious for international students to find jobs. However, if you are adding on top of this EOS layer, which means you also have to get EOS approval, that makes it essentially ineffective. There's not going to be an employer who's going to be willing to wait for you for months after your OPT is approved and then months after EOS is approved. And if you are already got your OPT approved, however, cannot start because your EOS hasn't been approved, then after you accumulate a certain number of unemployment during your OPT is revoked. So effectively, the OPT CPT is essentially become ineffective for a lot of different people. And then lastly, the risk of deportation for students in programs longer than 4 years, because so for students who are doing a combined BS-MS program, for students who are in a PhD program, for residents resident physicians in a residency programs, they are definitely going to have to apply for EOS, and EOS. They're going to decide on some sort of criteria that we're not quite sure yet. They haven't released it yet. They're going to decide on the criteria whether to approve you or not. If they deny you, there is no appeal. There is no appeal process like OPT. You have to depart the US immediately, and there's no grace period either. So there's going to be a risk of deportation. Imagine doing a PhD program that's on average about 6 years, and you're coming from a country where you only have 2 years of visa. That means you have to apply EOS for possibly up to 3 times. And if one of these times you get denied by whatever reasons that that are poorly defined, that you will be deported immediately. So that's kind of the overview of the proposed rule. And the public comment process, I think this is what really confused a lot of people. I think this ruling is so insidious because the target population is international students. However, those students are usually not involved in the political process, and they have the Department of Homeland Security has failed to taking the advice from the international students community before even releasing this rule, which is actually one of the I forgot how you're supposed to say this in English, but like one of the rules that you're supposed to, like one of the things that you're supposed to follow before you actually release a proposed rule is that you have to survey the community that's going to be impacted by this rule. They have clearly failed to do so. And furthermore, international students do not understand how to write public comments or get involved in any political process. In fact, they are afraid that there will be retaliations by being engaged in this process. So we want to kind of make it clear how this process actually works, that they can remain anonymous, that even if you're not a US citizen, you can still submit comments, like stuff like this that people are not aware of. So basically the comment window is open for 30 days after the rule is proposed, which is actually another violation, which I will not get into right now because, well, I can go into a little bit, but because of COVID-19, there's actually a new rule that says you need to prolong all the comment window. But this DHS ruling, they didn't prolong it. It didn't extend the comment windows. And in fact, during the first few days of after the proposed rule was released, the website crashed multiple times, that people were not able to go into the website and make comments. So that's actually one of the things that we want to write in the comment, is that they need to extend this comment window to 60 days. But right now it is only for 30 days, and it will close in approximately 7 days. And then at that point, they will go through all the public comments, go through each of them, respond to each of them per their laws, and finally decide whether they want to make this ruling, pass this ruling to the next phase, basically. So yeah, so the most helpful comments will usually reference a specific portion of the proposed rule, explain the reasons for any recommended changes, including data, information, also personal stories, how this will impact their personal life, using kind of personal details. So we want to be able to kind of tell them how to do that, particularly because Harvard has been relatively silent on these issues, especially if you compare this with July 6th order, the other DHS ruling. The other DHS order, when they were threatening an immediate deportation, Harvard was much more vocal about that one. However, they're a lot more silent on this one. So a lot of people actually don't really understand what this new DHS ruling is about. It's a very complicated ruling. It's going to be the biggest change to the F1 student community in the past 2 decades. So people actually do not understand the gravity of this issue. So we're really hoping that by through this public comment workshop, we'll be able to kind of drill that idea into in their mind. So some talking points I've already come up with. The 31-day comment period is too short, should be extended. The USCIS will be severely overburdened if this ruling gets passed, because then each student will have to file an OPT and EOS at the same time. And the current processing time, like I said, is already 2 to 4 months. And we expect, and the current EOS processing times is about 5 to 8 months. And imagine this is only and the people who are actually applying for EOS is a small proportion of F1 students right now. But in the future, almost everybody will have to apply for EOS. So imagine the backlogs that will be created if this rule gets into effect.
Hi, Davey. I'm so sorry, but unfortunately we are running a little bit over time, and I do want to be sensitive of everyone at the meeting. But if you want to share the presentation or a link of that, in case anyone wants additional details, or if they could contact you, feel free to leave your contact information in the chat. But we unfortunately do have to get through other items of the agenda. I'm so sorry about that.
Okay, no worries.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, so I will leave my email in the chat, and please come to the meeting on Wednesday. I think the link is also in the document. And yeah, so thank you, everyone.
Thanks so much, Davey. It was a great presentation.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Hey, Davey. Oh, I'm leaving. Yeah, you got it. Okay, so yeah, as everyone is mentioning, we're running a little behind, and we're very cognizant of the time. So we want to raise a couple of action items for all of the representatives, and we will hopefully still be able to get out of here by 8:30. The first one is meeting times. We do have, as you mentioned a few times, some students who are very international, for whom these meetings are taking place early in the morning, maybe not so early in the morning, but before it's reasonable to wake up. So if everyone could please fill out, as representatives go, and I mean, you take the board if you haven't, please fill out the when to meet with times that you are available. This is still the default time for meeting, but we are going to see if it is possible to schedule at least some of them, and if not all of the meetings for a time that, while we are all remote, can be more convenient for everyone, because we want to be able to maximize participation from all of the wonderful members of the Harvard Graduate Council. And the best way to do that is to find time that really works for everyone. So please fill that out. The other major action item at the moment is that Abhinaya, our chair of advocacy, sent out to the list, and as she mentioned when Jack was speaking, the HGC is putting together a statement in support of the petition that the Undergraduate Council is going to present to President Bacow regarding turning election day into a university-wide holiday so that students don't feel pressure and can go and vote. And it is now up there on the screen share. And so in order to put that as a statement, we need to take a vote of the representatives. So we are going to quickly do a yay or nay vote of the representatives, and we are going to turn this over to Peter. I will just mention that, yes, our next meeting is after daylight savings ends. So assume that the when to meet will show in Eastern Standard Time for the vote that you are making. So if you have to do any time calculations, if you're in a country that does not have daylight savings time, it will be in the fallback standard time format. Peter, take it away.
Thanks, Jojo. I know that we heard from Hugh about the election day as a university holiday. I do want to allow people to have a couple minutes to discuss. So I'm going to allow maybe 2 minutes to sort of discuss. If you'd like to discuss openly, you can. If you would like to deliberate amongst your own graduate schools, feel free to either send private messages or sort of figure things out, but I will allow until 8:29 for some discussion, and then we will close the debate and move forward with voting. Because we have Zoom, I do want to take full advantage of it. If you click on the participants, you can click either yes for the green check mark or no for the red X. So only those who are voting representatives here today representing your school, every school gets 1 vote. When we open up for voting, please use that feature. All right, so with that, do we have a motion to open debate?
Any of the reps
open
can.
debate.
All right.
And then we just need a second from one of the reps.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded to open debate. Does anyone have any thoughts? Feel free to raise your hands using the participant feature, or you can just speak up, I guess. And then if there is no debate, the official rules for Robert's rules is this question is to close debate. Sorry, Narima?
Question.
Do we have a second for voting?
A quick question. After this, is it possible to vote no white ballot for voting?
Oh, actually, we can. Wait, can we do the voting thing with this?
Oh, with the poll feature? Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Let's do that. And you can do it as anonymous. That's how we did the elections.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, William.
So then in that case, do we have a second to move us to voting?
Second.
All right. Any dissent? All right. Hearing that there's no dissent, we'll move forward to voting. Shinsia, I don't know if I lost the host feature, but I can't seem to find my.
Yeah, Jojo, are you the?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can put a poll together.
Thanks, Jojo.
Yeah.
Yeah, just make sure you click anonymous at the top.
Could we move on to the last parts of the agenda while we get that set up?
Yeah, sure. Well, I don't. Well, I guess the only thing is like Hugh mentioned for the COVID policies, like if you guys for your school, if you want to just like type up what your school is potentially doing, and we'll add it to the notes, and then we can discuss again regarding this at our next meeting, because I think we're actually going to have a member of the provost office come. So he was supposed to come today, but there was a bit of a confusion. So he's actually going to be at our next general council meeting, and he had requested that if you guys have any questions for the provost, he's he's like director of student engagement or something at the provost office. We'll send out a Google form for you to ask questions ahead of the meeting. And if you guys have any questions for the provost office, which I'm sure you guys do, please submit it to us before our next general council meeting, which is November 9th. And it'll be hosted by HLS, so that's Diego, I hope Diego is still on the call, and we'll reach out to Diego regarding what it means to do the hosting. And then regarding some questions that people had about like primary rep, alternate rep, and how the everything's going to work with food budgeting. The exec board is going to stay behind a little bit after this meeting to just discuss that.
Yeah, so we will follow up with all of those things. Diego, you're here. You're hosting next time. So if you want to work on a virtual tour of HLS, that I'd be happy to help you with. Yeah, so definitely we will follow up on all of those. Please feel free to, as everyone has said, email us. If you email council@hgc.harvard.edu, you will get the whole executive board. You can email any individual if you want to reach out to them to talk about something specific. And please, for the representatives, you feel free to utilize the WhatsApp as well. The idea is to keep the conversation going in between meetings as well. And we work very hard on this and really want to hear from you guys as well, because that just makes it as best as can be. We currently have 11 votes out of the 12. Now we have 12 votes. And we have unanimous approval of the statement. So we will, thank you everyone. I will take a screenshot of that for posterity, and we will be showing our support with a statement that will be put out hopefully in the next day or two to go along with the poll.
And please, in conjunction to, like Abhinaya messaged in the chat, in conjunction to having voted for us to support this, please do send this out to your schools, various channels of communication. Just send out an email based on what Jack had sent. I think I forwarded that to everyone, or even, if we post it onto our website, you can also send it out to everyone. So please do represent Harvard Graduate Council in your communications to your school's community, because that is the role we're so graciously to have you elected for. Okay, so I think that is that's the end of the meeting, right? So do we have a motion to adjourn from one of the reps, or if anyone has any questions?
Can we just clarify? Next meeting is the 2nd of November, not the 9th.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're correct. Yeah.
So yeah, we just to follow procedural precedent, if we can get a motion to adjourn from any of the representatives.
Yeah, motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Nariman. Second. All right, this meeting is now officially adjourned. Thank you all. Everyone is free to go about their evening. Again, thank you all so much for coming, and we got it almost there. Next time we will definitely be done by 8:30. If members of the executive board want to stay behind just for a few minutes, so we can discuss some of these things as a quick debrief. And everyone else, thank you. Have a great night. We're going to keep to the waiting room.